Hey everybody, it's Adler the Eagle, and boy howdy do I have a very special episode for you today. We're going to be reviewing my car, the Mini Cooper S 2009. Now, my Mini Cooper is a manual transmission, meaning that it...
The meme is dead.
But I would drive 1 million miles, and I would drive 1 million more.
What?
Just to be the bird who drove 1 million miles to tell you the word about this Million Mile Lexus. It's Matt Farah's. Oh, please stop playing. Okay, play the video now. This is falling apart. Bye.
Now, before we get started, I know basically nothing about cars. I own a car, I can drive a car, and I have seen a car once. But other than that, I have, no knowledge of cars. I do know how to drive a stick, but other than that, I basically know absolutely nothing about cars.
This car, however, is not just some regular car, though. Oh, no. This car is Matt Farah's Million Mile Lexus. It's more than just an easy way to get to the grocery store and back. It's a goal. It's a drive. It's a collaborative effort to put 1 million miles on this thing just because it can. The Million Mile Lexus is exactly what it sounds like. It's a 1996 LS400 with almost 1 million miles on it. I say almost 1 million miles because it's not quite there yet. At the time I drove it, it had about 3,000 left to go and was sitting at 997,000 miles, which is still a lot. To put 997,000 miles into perspective, this car is driven enough to go to the moon and back twice and around the world once after that. On average, this car has driven 118 miles every single day since it was put on the road.
That is amazing! Now you're probably asking yourself, well sure Adler, it has 997,000 miles on it, but how does it drive? Well, it drives like any other car from 1996 that's still on the road. It has, features. The engine is a 1UZ FE 4-liter engine with about 260 horsepower at the crank. The battery is honestly just kind of sitting here. It's for easy access if you need to change it. It leaks oil, but only when standing still. That's why you gotta keep driving it. The trunk doesn't really stay open on its own, but that's just to make sure it's closed. The paint is chipping off, but that's just so you can see it's not rusting underneath. The oil light, the check engine light, and the airbag light are always illuminated for your safety and convenience. Also, there's enough space back here that if you really needed to, you could just take a nap. Let's go for a ride! So one of the weird things about the Million Mile Lexus is that the speedometer doesn't really tell you exactly how fast you're going. In fact, it makes it look like you're going slower than you actually are. But that's just to make sure you get good time on going to grandma's house or wherever you're headed. The LS400 is also super duper fancy and has this multi-CD changer. Look at that, you can listen to 6 different CDs at once without having to change them. Whoa, the future. The other nice thing about the LS400 is that it has 2 glove compartments. One on the bottom and one on the top, because you have 2 gloves. Also, if you let up on the gas too quick, you get a little bit of a jolt. But it's just to make sure you stay awake while you're driving on the highway. Ugh.
When I was handed the keys to drive the Million Mile Lexus for the first time, I felt the weight of all of its previous owners, all of its previous drivers, all the miles that it went through, sitting precariously on my shoulders. I, if not only for a brief moment, was the pilot of this car's million-mile journey. And it smelled like a grandma.
But when I took a seat, all of that melted away. This was just a normal car. It was just a normal car that had 997,000 miles on it.
The Lexus LS400 was meant to compete with the BMW 7 Series and the Mercedes S-Class. It's a 4-speed automatic with a typical torque converter. The Lexus LS400, the car for the guy who pours wine into a pint glass. A car for someone who has 2 baby seats but no kids. You borrowed this car from Aunt Smoker's Cough to drive to MFF with no room plans and just hoped everything would work out okay. Don't worry about Tumblr, you'll adapt. Do you want to buy a cracked version of Photoshop? Because it's like 1996 in here. The LS400 is for the guy who goes to IKEA and eats Swedish meatballs for dinner and doesn't buy anything at IKEA. If you're rolling an LS400 through rural Indiana, you're probably trying to appear cultural, but you've definitely gotten into fist fights before with your redneck friends about cornhole, like actually beating each other up fist fights. You drive an LS400, and you also bought a Keep Muncie Weird shirt your freshman year of college at Ball State University. I drive a Lexus. A Lexus. So fancy.
The joy of the Million Mile Lexus doesn't come from the car itself. It comes from the people who've driven it, for the places it's been and the stories that it's seen. Cars aren't necessarily about the car itself. It's about the experience and where you're going in the car. That's the part that makes it special. And this car is really special because it's been a lot of places, a lot of times, and it has to have seen some of the craziest things I can't even imagine.
And now, a few excerpts from the journal of the Million Mile Lexus.
Of course it's my birthday. It has to be my birthday. Bit of advice here. Don't ever send your friend a link to something dumb and cheap on his birthday, unless you're prepared for him to buy it. Who wants to take this thing to 1,000,000 was the subject line of the email. The big Lex is only 58,000 miles away from driving to the moon and back. Twice. I don't know why I developed relationships with cars so quickly. Probably for the same reason I develop relationships with women so quickly.
Lexus cold start update. Condition, bad. Bringing to a mechanic next Saturday. Note, how to pick up females at the gym, drive the Million Mile Lexus to the gym. SS.
A car with almost 1,000,000 miles on it. Hard to believe it drives like it did in the 90s. Who wouldn't enjoy a soothing plush ride and ultra-soft leather seats that had how many butt cheeks? This carried up miles like a kid alone with a Twinkie box. It made a superb companion to our 500-mile journey to Chiricahua National Monument.
Baton Rouge to Houston. Rain. Found a space shuttle. Houston to Austin. The AC blows. Annan.
Over 2 weeks and 4,048 miles, the car never faltered once. It's comfortable. It's a great cruiser. It feels like it's got 120,000 miles. I had a great time, and I'm proud to say I'm part of getting this car to 1,000,000. I'm also glad I didn't break it or kill it. Austin.
The Million Mile Lexus is a love story in persistence. It's that pair of underwear you've had for years, and every time you fold laundry, you contemplate throwing them away. But they've lasted this long, so what's one more go-around gonna hurt? This Lexus LS400 has driven 997,000 miles, and 7 of those miles were put there by a giant Birdman.
Hey everybody, it's Adler the Eagle, and thanks for watching the first episode of Adler Adventures, which is just gonna kind of be whatever I want it to be, whatever random stuff I didn't know where to put this. You know, like what a car review? I mean, if you guys like the car reviews thing, I will do more car reviews. I want to give a huge shout out to everybody who helped with this episode. Toad from Mario, the guys with the Million Mile Lexus, Matt Farah, everybody who was involved, thank you so much. It was just a great time. I had so much fun, and I learned a lot about cars, actually, which is something I didn't know about, so you learn something new every day. Also, I wanted to give a huge shout out to our patrons who did the voiceover work for the stories. I gave them basically no time, and they did a fantastic job of just coming in, doing some audio work for me, and kabam! It was great. Also, speaking of patrons, if you want to become a patron, you totally can. The link is in the description. I do monthly animated episodes where your Sona could be in the episodes, which is super cool, and also sometimes I do like this kind of random stuff where your voice can be in a video about the Million Mile Lexus. I don't know. And I think that's about it. That's about all I have. So thank you for watching my weird car video review. Thanks for everybody who helped and helped someone smile today.